last night. His name is Mike McGarry. He joins us every week at this time for a South Jersey Sports Report. It's a playoff segment this week. Mike, you're getting older, buddy. I threw that in there.
Yeah, I'm getting older, and you know what old people don't like? Cold weather, Pete. Why is it so cold out? That's what old people don't like.
Can't tell you how nice and warm it was in my house last night. I took the lady out to run some errands, came home, had a nice dinner. It was like 7:30, 8 o'clock. I thought, like, wow, I'm not on a sideline somewhere. This is just fine.
Well, if I had to be out in the cold, I had the right game to be out in the cold in last night at Manahawkin, where, Violin pulls off a tremendous comeback and wins that South Jersey Group 5 quarterfinal 24-21. So if there's a game worth freezing for, I was at it Friday night.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that then. So, first of all, foremost, I know you prefer to be on the sidelines rather than in the press box. So where were you last night?
First half sideline, second half press box, but the press box was not much warmer. It was slightly warmer. So I chose slightly warmer over not much warmer, basically.
All right, so you were the good luck charm then for the Fighting Clans, because the minute you got off the field, they started playing well. Is that accurate?
Well, it was a weird sort of game. I went into the game expecting, Southern Violin, two teams that favor the run. I went in expecting a quick game. A lot of running, clock moving, and obviously a close game. Southern the 4 seed, Violin the 5 seed, in South Jersey Group 5. That 4-5 matchup, you kind of expect that game to be close naturally. And in the first half, that's exactly the type of game it was. Southern Regional led 7-0 at halftime, and then it looked like Southern, not a team known for making big plays. Senior Will Devane catches a 77-yard touchdown pass on Southern's first possession of the second half. And on the second possession, he breaks a sweep 55 yards for a touchdown. So Southern's up 21-0 with 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. And at that point, Pete, I figured, hey, this game is over.
And yet it wasn't.
Yeah, and it was weird. Violin just came back, and they came back not by, at that point you say, hey, maybe, down 21-0, we got to start throwing the football all over the place. We got to do this, we got to do that. No, Violin stayed with its game plan, which was running the football. At the end of the day, Southern could not stop the run, so it was a methodical, dramatic comeback. Tyrene Powell, the Violin quarterback, ran for 2 touchdowns. Nazir Broom ran for 2. Nazir Broom had a big 57-yard touchdown run in that third quarter to sort of start the comeback. And the Violin defense played great. Ryan Shelton, who's a great story, started the season as quarterback, shifted to play more defense. They put Tyrene Powell in at quarterback midway through the season. Shelton with some big tackles last night for losses, some big plays on defense. And Tyrene Powell completed 2 passes. One was a 32-yarder to Levi Manson of Violin, wide receiver, to get Violin the ball at the Southern 20, and they ran it in from there. Tyrene Powell with the 8-yard touchdown run with 52 seconds left, and Violin's got the second playoff win in school history, and by far the most thrilling playoff win in the school history, because they got their first last year in a lopsided shutout win over Toms River North. So excitement-wise, this one topped that one by far.
Yeah, no doubt. No matter what they do moving forward, and of course they still have the Thanksgiving game to play as well. Let me quick interject that, Mike. I posted this, I believe, on Twitter. Maybe it was Facebook, probably Twitter, because I'm not on Facebook as much, but I know where I put it in my extra points column for Sure Local. I knew I wrote it somewhere. The whole dynamic, and I'm all for the Thanksgiving games, but the whole dynamic of where playoff teams are active and trying to pursue a state title, play a game, then have a Thanksgiving game where they might be playing for something, but the other team may not, is a little strange, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess my feelings on the Thanksgiving games are becoming more and more known. I wrote a column before last year's Thanksgiving games basically saying, hey, it's time to end these Thanksgiving games. I think, you start the football season, you play the playoffs, and then, stopping the playoffs in the middle of the playoffs to play Thanksgiving games, I think is an idea whose time has come and gone. And I know there's people will say, well, what about Violin, Millville? What about Holy Spirit, Atlantic City? What about those playoff? What about those traditional Thanksgiving games? Well, first of all, I think there's only a handful of Thanksgiving games left that actually mean something. You know, there's a lot. Some teams play on Thanksgiving, but those games don't have the same historical significance or rivalry impact as a Millville, Vineland, Holy Spirit, Atlantic City, you know, maybe Pleasantville, Ocean City, etc. So, you know, my idea would be you get off the Thanksgiving thing, and you shift those games to the opening game of the season. You open the season with Millville, Vineland, and that way, you know, you have, you know, the Millville, Vineland kids, they can train all season. They can hang the date of the opener in their weight room, and I think you can use that game as a celebration of both schools and both communities, and really use it as a kickoff to the school year, sort of getting it off to a good year. So I'm for ending the Thanksgiving games and taking those traditional rivalries and playing them the first game of the season.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I know also that that's usually the biggest revenue generator for the school that gets to host it. And, of course, one of the rivalries you didn't mention, Middle Township and Lower Cape May. When Lower Cape May has had down years, at least they can say, well, we're hosting the Anchor Bowl this year, so we'll have one game where we'll make some money at the gate.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I also think you'd get just as big a crowd at the Middle and Lower Cape May play the opening game of the season. I think the excitement around the new school year, I think the schools can do stuff like hold open houses, hold other activities during the day. I think you can bring in food trucks and all sorts of things, and I think you can really make it a great celebration and a tremendous way to start the school year. So I think the crowd would be just the same. And between me and you, Pete, as a guy who's been to a lot of Thanksgiving games for 25 years now, there's a romanticism about the games. You know, the cold, hard truth of the matter is the crowds aren't what people think they are
right.
A lot of the time. There's a lot of romanticism about what goes on that day, and I just think it can be just as well served for a number of reasons, the playoffs being one of them. The start of the winter season being another, and that's a whole other story. Resting people's bodies, giving kids time to recover from football season and wrestling and basketball season. I think the time has come to move those Thanksgiving games to the opening week of the season.
All right. I didn't expect that we were going to go in that direction, but yeah, you know, God bless you. You're a little stronger than me. I said that I do appreciate the rivalries, and I still, you know, like the fact that some of those rivalries are out there. You're flat out like, no, move them to week 0. You know, that's it makes more sense. So I appreciate that you have a strong opinion there. Let's get into some of the playoff wins last night and some of the teams that won from our area last night before we talk about the Saturday games. I know Cedar Creek is home this afternoon, and of course the big mainland Ocean City game got moved to today. I guess we'll start off, I mean, whoa, Buena, whoa, 63 points. Let's just start off with them in Central Jersey Group 1.
Yeah, Buena goes to 8-2. They really got the running game going last night. Sharon Smith-Bay, a sophomore fullback, 4 touchdown runs, and Buena just comes out and, you know, Buena opened up the season with the 35-0 loss to Gateway. Since then, they're 8-1. The only loss is to Pleasantville, who's the top seed in Central Jersey Group 2. And now Buena gets a big test. You know, they'll go up against Willingboro, the top seed in that Central Jersey Group 1. Willingboro ranked in our Elite 11. They've been undefeated since they lost opening day to Cedar Creek 24-20 in a very close game. So Buena with a great playoff win. They're in a sectional semifinal for the second straight year in a row. Great job by Coach John Caputo and the rest of the Buena Chiefs out there.
Now, you mentioned Pleasantville, of course, because there's no TV40 and there's no S&J anymore. I had to watch former TV40 sports anchor Jeff Skaversky in his high school huddle, which means I saw my own alma mater, Plymouth Whitemarsh, get waxed in Pennsylvania, but that's not the story. The story is they used the helicopter bike, Chopper 6, shot the highlights of Pleasantville running all over Collingswood.
Yeah, Pleasantville got off to a slow start in that game, 6-0 at the half, but they were able to put it together and roll in the second half, get a 35-0 victory, and now Pleasantville to a sectional semifinal for the second straight year. They'll face the winner of the Lincoln-Camden game, which is going to be played today. Most people expect Camden to sort of get past and win that game, so that'll be a great matchup probably next Friday night in Pleasantville, Camden versus Pleasantville. But Pleasantville, all the credit in the world in a sectional semifinal for the second straight season. They start slow last night, 6-0 at the half, but they get it going and end up winning impressively 35-0.
Yeah, and speaking of 35-0, that's the same exact score in Central Jersey Group 4, where Hamilton put up 35 points on Brick, and looks like, just exercising the muscle, doing what the Hamilton Blue Devils do.
Yeah, that's, 7 or 8 in a row? I think it's 7 in a row for Hamilton, a streak that started back in September when they upset Holy Spirit in that game, and they haven't looked back since. Same formula, all 6-7 games. Stingy defense, great running back Jaden Abrams, quarterback Ryan Bartz, able to run the football and also mix in some timely passes. And now Hamilton, that new playoff format, they're the number 1 seed in Central Jersey Group 4, and they're in there with 3 shore conference teams. They'll play next Friday night. They'll host Middletown South from the shore conference. Middletown South, one of the historic programs, one of the perennial, well-known Rolls-Royce programs of the shore conference, will come down to Hamilton. And on the other side of that bracket, you've got Toms River East and Jackson Memorial. So it's kind of Hamilton versus the Shore Conference in that Central Jersey Group 4 bracket.
Absegami knew they'd have trouble at the 2 seed. They fall 37-7 to Somerville. That's probably enough said about that. We know Dennis Scuderi's like, don't talk about our game. Don't talk about our game. But in Group 4, South Jersey Group 4, Millville with a big win, 32-24 over Clearview. They go on the road and beat Clearview last night.
Yeah, I think what you see there, a great game from Shamar Collins, senior, who had a big touchdown catch, a great game by Solomon DeShields, who's bound for the University of Pittsburgh for Millville. And then, we've talked about Millville in the past. They're playing a lot of sophomores, chief among them, quarterback Nate Robbins, running back LaQuint Allen, who already has a scholarship offer from Temple. And, those seniors and that core of sophomores go on the road and get it done. And now Millville sets up a great rematch with top-seeded Shawnee in that South Jersey Group 4 bracket. We remember the game last year at Millville on a Saturday afternoon, one of the game of the years, a back-and-forth contest where Shawnee edged Millville, and then Shawnee went on to win the sectional championship. So Millville, the number 5 seed, back on the road next Friday night against top-seeded Shawnee in a rematch of one of last season's great playoff games. So big game out in, out in Shawnee next Friday night.
Mike McGarry with us, Press of Atlantic City at AC Press. McGarry, of course, big games on this Saturday as well. You've got Cedar Creek at home. That's a noon start. What are they playing? Pittman? Does that sound right? Who are they playing?
Point Pleasant,
PP, sorry.
Triple option offense attack is coming down the Garden State Parkway and out Route 561 to Egg Harbor City for that game. Cedar Creek, the number 2 seed, Point Pleasant, the number 7 seed. So Cedar Creek with a chance to advance and get a playoff win there. And that's been a big goal of theirs all season long.
Well, not one, but 2 Press of Atlantic City rock stars at that game. Nick Huba and Guy Gargan will both be there. Steve Martin is his celebrity lookalike. And then Ahmad Austin is going to be at the Ocean City mainland game. That's a 1 o'clock start at the Mustang Corral. And I texted you. I thought maybe you were sick or you were ill or I was worried about you. And you fired back with what?
I am actually covering cross-country today. Man does not live by football alone. So I actually did a little soccer before the football yesterday, a little cross-country today, a little St. Augustine soccer in the state championship game tomorrow. So, like you said, man does not live by football alone.
I saw that, buddy. You were running Mead to Manahawkin. Quite a two-pack. On TV, we used to try and go, like, the farthest we'd go would be Absecon to Pleasantville. We were trying to group them together. You had no choice. You had to put some miles on the car.
Yeah, a little extra time. There, and oil changes are the key to a successful life.